Hi guys, your favorite biologist here, Ismail. I hope you are doing great. Today we're gonna talk about how to increase your libido, how to go from having a very low libido, borderline asexual, to a literally sex machine. They have a very high libido. I hope your partner can keep up. So how this video is built is we will start with like easier things to implement, like lifestyle changes, and then we are going to go to more extreme stuff, which you should definitely consult your doctor before doing. So make sure you don't miss anything of this video. Very important, especially at the end. This is very interesting and the most powerful agent I will mention. First of all, to have a healthy libido, you need a healthy body. What does it mean? You need to lower stress, cortisol, and cortisol has like very negative effects on your body if you have it long-term elevated, not short-term. It causes protein breakdown, you have less protein synthesis, you also have less hormone production, especially testosterone, which you need for your libido. So you need to try to lower your stress, to manage your stress, to have a better libido. This is a libido killer, and not just your libido, also your health, very important. And you want to make sure that you have enough vitamins and minerals. So I recommend taking a multivitamin, a B complex, and also taking a multimineral. I take chelated, so it's bound to an amino acid. So you have all your vitamins, so those are the water soluble ones, and you have the minerals that you need. And those are essential. I don't recommend supplementing with fat soluble vitamins, especially except vitamin D3 and K2, because you can overdose on them and it's harder for your body to get rid of because they get in your fat tissue, and yeah, it's harder for your body to get rid of. So you can eat a balanced diet and maintain healthy fat soluble vitamin levels and be healthy. But it makes sense to supplement other vitamins like D3 and K2 because usually you don't get them much in your food. And make sure in your multimineral that you have enough iodine. This is very important. And I also recommend supplementing with omega-3 fatty acids because we don't get usually enough of them, and it's good for your brain and your health. And if you work out, you can take some creatine and whey protein as supplemental to make sure you have enough protein in your body, as creatine has been shown to increase DHT, and DHT increases your libido also. So this is something very interesting. And of course, make sure you work out. You don't just sit all day, and then your libido should also increase. Yeah, so we made sure this is in check. You can of course also do a blood panel, a big blood panel to make sure that you don't have any deficiencies. Also your hormones. The hormones you can check are testosterone, estrogen, and prolactin. And also you can check for luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone. And this makes sense. I will put a list here somewhere. You can see which hormones you can check and see where the problem might be, because it might be a lack of testosterone, which a lot of people experience. And maybe you have to go on TRT. I will do a video on alternatives to TRT. And of course, you should consider these things only with the help of a professional doctor and after optimizing other aspects of your life like nutrient deficiencies and so on, because they can lower your testosterone. We got now rid of this. Now we're gonna go into the pharmaceutical part of this video, which is much more powerful. But before we go into the pharmaceutical, there's also two supplements you can take. L-Citrulline. L-Citrulline is very good to cause blood vessel dilation, and of course as a man you want this, so the blood goes into your penile tissue, and this causes easier and better erections. And also in the gym you get better pumps and more muscle, because more nutrients go into the muscles and less byproducts or waste products go outside the muscle. So it's something nice to supplement with. Yeah, and of course make sure you talk with your doctor. Maybe you have some medications which can cause erectile dysfunction as a side effect. Also make sure if you are dieting, so you don't go too fast into or too hard into a caloric deficit, because this can reduce your testosterone, and you need testosterone for your libido. This is very important. But if you still have problems, some people have also psychological problems because of it, maybe some pharmaceuticals can help you. And the first line of treatment for erectile dysfunction, after checking everything I mentioned, the nutrient deficiencies and all of this and hormone deficiencies, is PDE5 inhibitors, and those cause nitric oxide production and blood vessel dilation. So you have, as you heard, the blue pills, Cialis, Viagra, and so on, and those can help a lot with maintaining an erection and getting easier erections. So instead of having like 80 to 40% erection, you can get up to 80, 100. And if you have normal 100 erections, you can get even over 100. It gets girthier than it is naturally in a way. And there are very good ones used, like tadalafil. The dosage is usually between 5 and 20 milligram. It has a long half-life, so it stays in your system for multiple days. Of course, there are other ones like sildenafil. Sildenafil, it's in Viagra, and this one has like 4 to 6 hours, the half-life. And if you want something that gets fast in your system, because the two I mentioned, they take between 45 and 60 minutes. Avanafil takes between 15 and 30 minutes to get in your body. So if you want to have like fast effect, she's getting ready, you want to go, maybe it makes sense to take this medication. Of course, after consulting your doctor. But the problem with those medications, or a misconception, is that it increases your libido, which it does not do in most people. It just helps having an erection. So let's say you're sitting with the boys and you take it, usually you will not get hard, of course, even with this medication, or you don't feel horny or something. But let's say a girl is walking by and usually you get, let's say, 40% hard. It will make you go like to 60 or 80. It just makes it easier, but it does not increase the libido. This is a misconception. If you want to increase your libido, there are other medications. One medication, it's a peptide. It's called Bremelanotide or PT141 or Vyleesi, if I pronounce it correctly. I will write the names here. And this is a very, 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 very powerful medication. For someone who, let's say, like I said, very low libido, borderline asexual, can go very, 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 can become very sexual. So this is something to keep in mind. Very powerful stuff. It's usually used for women, but men can also use it. And you have to check if it's legal in your country, if it's approved in your country, because it's not approved in all countries. And which dosage is usually used? So usually it's an injection, so subcutaneously, and so in the belly fat usually. And the dosage is 1.75 milligram or 2 milligram. And like I said, very, very strong. And the effect lasts up to like 6 hours, but some people report having longer effects, much longer effects. So it's different, I think, from person to person. If you're afraid of needles, some people reported that they use it intranasally, so you can put it maybe in like a nasal spray, but it's not approved this way. You have to keep this in mind. But a lot of people say that it's better because when you inject, there's a risk of infection, it hurts, and it's not comfortable. And if you do it for years, you might get like scar tissue formation, so not very nice. And it has some side effects. Most people experience like nausea, headache, reduced appetite. That's why it's also like being studied for as an appetite suppressant. It's a very strong appetite suppressant. It has antidepressant, anxiolytic effects by increasing brain-derived neurotrophic factors. This is a main signal molecule in your brain to cause neuron growth, neurogenesis, and also the production of new neurons. Very strong effect. But you need to watch out. This medication should not be used more than 2 times a week or 8 times a month, because you can get discoloration, so you can get like a tan, which some people like. But if you have like moles or molasses or skin color, it can make it much, much worse. But this is usually rare. But like I said, a lot of people experience headache, nausea, And a lot of people also get like a flushing, you become very red. But those side effects are usually, for most people, very minor, and they go also away after like 60 minutes or something. You feel better, except the nausea and stuff. This might be for a few hours, but usually it gets better after 1 hour. And you can drink fennel teas. People reported fennel tea helping with the nausea. So this is very, very powerful, and it causes also spontaneous erections. So if you also, some people combine it with like a PDE5 inhibitor like tadalafil, and it's a very, very extremely powerful stack. And yeah, for the PDE5 inhibitors, you can get generics, so it's much, much cheaper. So if you buy, let's say, Cialis, it's very expensive, but you can get tadalafil. This is the name of the active compound. You can get it as a generic, and you save a lot of money. Yeah, and some people reported, you have to look if it's legal in your country. I think it's only legal in Ukraine and Russia. It's another peptide called Semax, usually used intranasally. It has antidepressant, anxiolytic effects, and it's like a nootropic, so it increases your mental performance. I will do more videos on nootropics. If you want me to do more videos on nootropics, write it down below. And it also increases brain-derived neurotrophic factors. This is why it's being also studied for people who have brain damage. Very interesting stuff. And some people reported having very increased libido from it. And this makes sense because it works on similar receptors like PT141. But it has not been studied for it. Usually the dosage is 500 microgram, 1 to 2 a day. Very, very powerful medication. Also not that much for libido, but as a mood enhancement antidepressant by increasing brain-derived neurotrophic factors, like the growth factors in your brain. If you are interested in depression, I recommend watching my video on depression and SSRIs. Very, very interesting video. And some people recommend, which is very, very dangerous, which you should never ever do, is taking dopamine agonists like cabergoline, which can cause heart damage after a while, or a much safer medication called pramipexole. And those work like dopamine in your brain, and by increasing dopamine, they reduce prolactin. Prolactin is like the anti-libido kind of hormone. It reduces libido and motivation. And by doing this, first of all, you get like a mood enhancement. It's being studied for antidepressant properties. But the problem with doing this, it has like a big list of side effects. It has not been approved for sexual dysfunction, and it can cause even impulsive disorders. So you can get addicted, and it happens a lot, addicted to gambling, to shopping, to internet, to sex, and it can be very debilitating. And some people even get addicted to the medication. It's used usually for Parkinson's and restless leg syndrome. I do not recommend ever using this drug for sexual dysfunction, and talk with your doctor also. Some people like mention this stuff on social media and Reddit. Very, very dangerous stuff, and it can cause also daytime sleepiness and very strong drops in blood pressure, and also sleeping attacks. So you suddenly fall asleep, which is dangerous when you drive a car. And if you have also any like psychological issues, especially like schizophrenia, bipolar, psychotic, it can make it much worse. So it's a very, very serious medication which should not be used for this. Very important. Yeah. So this is the video. So I hope you liked it, guys. See you in the next one. Bye.